Picture this, DJ.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a boat out in the loch. Yeah, that was bad.
I'm in a what?
You're in a boat out in the loch.
Gage, use English.
You're in a boat out in the loch, and you see this wake start to come toward you in your boat. Do you know what a loch is?
I mean, yes, but let's assume. So yes, it's the Scottish word for lake, essentially. A big
Essentially.
ol' No, I'm not gonna say that. A thick lake, big lake, if you will.
Yeah, it's a,
I should be clear. I was gonna say juicy, not Jewish, in case there was any question.
my goodness.
Juvenile.
I knew you were going to say juicy. Like, I knew that's what was
Yeah.
going to come out of your mouth because I know you. So you're in a lake. You're in a loch. It reminds me of when we went to the Creation Museum and they were talking about Noah. It was like, Noah. Oh, my God.
Oh, you just said lock. I understand you now.
No, I was saying let's play around a golf.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. But anyways, you're in a boat out on the loch and you see a wake coming toward you and you see, depending on the story, 1, 2, 3 humps in the water.
I say stay over there, please. I'm not interested. I'm married, thanks.
Coming toward you, and then as in almost every story it kind of like diverts and goes away and disappears and you never actually saw anything at all. What have you just seen?
Sounds to me, Gage, like I have just as much as anyone else seen Nessie.
Yes, we are talking today about Nessie, or the Loch Ness Monster. Some of these accounts that we're going to be going over are a little bit fanciful in a way, and others are at least they beg questions. So that's what we're going to be talking about. But first, who are we? We're Sriracha.
We're the world's first Sriracha podcast, sponsored directly by Hui Fong Foods Incorporated. That's not true. That's a lie. But if you're interested, give us a call because we are also interested. I discovered this sauce recently. I discovered it the same way that Columbus discovered the Americas. Let me be very clear here. I discovered nothing. It's been around. Other people had it, and I was like, this is mine now. Very similar stories. But we're not going to don't take it too far. That's where we'll stop it right there. Anyways, we're not a Sriracha podcast, but I do enjoy it. I've been putting on like everything the past month and a half or so. We are, of course, as you can tell already by everything we've said so far, we are everything but the cats. We are the only show, that is going to burp right in the middle of introducing ourselves, and we're going to leave it in. We're going to leave it in the cut. So you're welcome for that. We're going to talk about everything. That's our mission. Our goal is to talk about every single thing, with the exception of one thing, which is geopolitical instability,
Which is caused by
the cats. Yeah, so we don't talk about the cats. You'll understand when you're older. That makes it sound like an innuendo.
It's really not.
We don't talk about. Just picture what you think we don't talk about, and we don't talk about that and so much more. Anyways, I'm DJ.
And I'm Gage.
And welcome to the show.
And we've been going through just a series of talking about different cryptids, hauntings, alien encounters, etc. And I've started coughing.
The plague.
Yeah, the plague.
My favorite cryptid.
We've been talking about just a bunch of that kind of stuff. And this is our second to last before we have one last kind of surprise before we get into our Halloween stuff. The year is flying, my word. Anyways, so if this is something that you're interested in, if you enjoy these kinds of stories, let us know, and we can do more of them later, like once we get through some of our seasonal stuff, because I think we both, and the people that we involve in it, we really enjoy our seasonal stuff. So, that being said, let's dive in to a story, or really a lot of stories about the Loch Ness Monster. Now, first and foremost, I do want to say the Loch Ness Monster is not alone in being a specific kind of lake monster that is described in the way that it is. DJ, do you know the names of any others?
Just a second, I'm chewing a potato.
Yeah, you're good.
Gobblewonker?
Gobblewonker. That's my favorite.
I know that there's some real weirdo out there. No, there's there's Champy or something like that. Champy, Stampy, Lampy, and Rye.
Yes. Yeah, so we have Champ, or Champy is what some people call it. Any
Mhm.
idea where that is?
It's Illinois.
It is Lake Champlain,
Champlain.
which is in
Illinois.
New York and Vermont.
Okay.
Then we have Ogopogo.
Okay. I think that's who I was thinking of when I said Stampy. That's in Florida, is my guess.
In Canada. It's in British Columbia.
Same thing.
Then we have Storsjujanet.
That's also Canada.
It's in Sweden.
That makes sense.
We have Larry, which is
That's our friend Keith that we went to Ozark with.
Larry is from Lake Como, Italy.
Okay. How did the Italian one get named Larry?
It's Larrie, so it might be Larry or something like that. Larry. But it's got a longer name that I just didn't want to write down for the sake of probably not being able to pronounce it. Lola, what are you doing?
So sorry, what's Lola?
A grumpy house pet.
Mm.
Then we have Manipogo, kind of like Ogopogo,
Florida.
which is also from Canada. And then we have one that we have talked about a little bit before in Mokele Mbembe.
Florida.
The Congo River Basin. The Florida of Africa. I don't know if that's true.
Real quick, here's our ad for Sriracha.
Okay.
It makes that sound if you shake it.
It certainly does. I have not coughed all day. Literally, I sit down and start coughing.
Are you ill?
I don't think so. I think Lola just peed on my bed.
You can go deal with that if you need to. I'm gonna keep eating potatoes. So this is Sriracha. I'm like the last person on the planet to hear of it. I've known of it. I just haven't been into hot sauce for a while, like most of my life. But recently, I've been into hot sauce. I don't know what happened, but I've like become more and more about like extreme flavors. I don't know why. And like right now, my mouth is in pain, but like I'm getting becoming cool about it. I guess. Wait for it. I like Sriracha. It's my favorite hot sauce that we own at the moment. I'm sure there are better hot sauces that I would enjoy even more. We have it's like a smoked Tabasco that it's also pretty good. It's kind of overpowering. Like the main flavor of whatever you put it in is going to be smoke, which isn't the worst. It's just not my favorite. Like not my favorite compared to this. Like it's pretty good. And there are some things that I would choose it for over Sriracha. And then there's also what's the one? It's got the Cholula. We have Cholula. Excuse me. And it was the first one that I bought. And I tried it again recently and realized it's just not good. This podcast is definitely not sponsored by Cholula. So sorry, Cholula. If I'm speaking to Cholula herself, if you give me enough money, we will say whatever you want. So next week, not next week, they won't have watched this yet. But 2 episodes from now, if I'm talking up Cholula, you'll know they paid us off, and substantially.
I'm probably going to leave in that. I don't know. Who knows?
I just talked a little bit about my hot sauce preferences.
Gotcha. So yeah, let's dive in.
Sure.
Splash. So, what all do you know about Scotland?
In 2005, my family moved from Klamath, California to Bronson, Kansas. And the way that we did that was via Greyhound bus, which means it was like a 5-day trip. Like pretty long hours. And when we weren't in a bus, we were like in a bus station waiting for our next bus. And so my parents knew it was going to be a long trip. So they purchased each of us a Game Boy Advance SP. Advance, not advanced. Advance. SP. Little clamshell you can flip open. You have one probably.
Somewhere, yeah.
Yeah. I've got one somewhere too. Also, sometimes Sriracha just leaks. It's just doing this. So, I guess bear that in mind. This is a lot. I don't know what I'm going to do with all this. Oh boy. And I ate my last potato, so I'm not going to put it on my peaches. I have a sandwich. I'll put it on the sandwich. That's clever. Anyways, 2005, they bought us a Game Boy Advance SP. Each of us one. Oh my gosh, that's an insane amount of Sriracha. I've never seen this much out of the bottle in my life. And one of the games that they bought for my sister was Kim Possible 2, Draken's revenge or demise or something. I don't know, something like that. And one of the main bad guys is a Scottish golfing guy that wears a kilt and
Yeah.
hits golf balls at you. So that's kind of the limit of my expertise. I once met some Scottish people.
Okay. So
help them build a fence.
That's more than I know.
In Africa.
The things that I wrote were bagpipes, kilts, maybe golf, because there's actually some argument to say that golf didn't originate in Scotland. Brave is a fun movie, and obviously the Loch. Specifically Loch Ness, because there are multiple lochs in Scotland.
Yeah. Because it's just a word for juicy lake.
Yeah, pretty much. But perhaps you're a brave soul who decides to sail the loch in hopes of finding a beast that, though elusive, may have the strength to be your end. Wary of a potential watery grave, you steel yourself and go into the frigid night, hoping for all you can that Nessie...
Too much sriracha. Sorry.
Man,
too much sriracha.
We're having a time today.
This podcast is no longer sponsored by sriracha.
You just start drinking it like a bottle. But anyways, yeah, you go into the frigid night hoping for all you can that Nessie won't see you as her next meal. So that is kind of the mood of the Loch Ness Monster. Now, just to give some background or some setting in general, Loch Ness is a large freshwater loch, which is technically it's a lake or an ocean inlet. It doesn't have to be freshwater. It can be an inlet.
Interesting.
And most lochs, I believe all lochs, are in the Scottish Highlands.
Just to be clear, an inland ocean is a sea, right?
I believe so.
Who knows? Someone does know.
Somebody out there. Comment below. Correct us.
Garrett.
But anyways, yeah, Loch Ness is a large freshwater loch. Again, lake or ocean inlet in the Scottish Highlands. Glacial erosion formed the Great Glen and the basins for Loch Ness, Loch Oich, and Loch Lochy.
I was like, man, Loch Oich is such a stupid name. We can't possibly top that.
Well, it's either Oich or Oich. It's O-I-C-H. So it could be like...
Loch Lochy is
Oich.
Better, though.
I love Loch Lochy. This lake is very lakey.
Lakey McLakeface.
Lakey McLakeface. So Loch Ness itself, the one that we're specifically going to be dealing with, is about 22 square miles and is the second largest Scottish loch by surface area. It is the largest in the British Isles by volume, though. So it's not the biggest in terms of how much area it covers, but it is the biggest in terms of how much water is in it. And that is mostly due to its great depth. At its deepest, it is over 750 feet deep, which is pretty deep.
Yeah, that's like my friend who was a psychology major, that deep.
I think Lake of the Ozarks, which is the lake I'm most familiar with other than Lake Fort Scott, at its deepest is still less than 200 feet.
That would make sense.
Like maybe just over 100 even.
It's also man-made.
It is. Yes, that's true. Same for Stockton Lake, also man-made. I don't think Lake Fort Scott gets over 20 feet deep at any point. It might, but I really don't think it does. But anyways, at its deepest, it's 755 feet deep. Now, Loch Ness is home to a local legend known as Nessie or the Loch Ness Monster, typically described as large, long-necked, and with one or more humps protruding from the water. It was brought to worldwide attention in 1933, but stories have actually existed much longer. All the evidence for Nessie is almost entirely anecdotal, and in order to get to it, you need to sift through a number of hoaxes, misidentifications of other things, and wishful thinking through the mundane. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to look at a lot of the major sightings of Nessie and just kind of dealing with what they are and how they have been proven to be fake for the most part.
I'm down.
So DJ, I want you to guess what year our first one takes place in.
I only need one clue, which is before 1933?
Yes.
1654.
I think not far enough.
0.
Okay, way too far. Well, You're closer now than you were.
2. I can do this all night, Gage.
I did stop myself from saying way too far. We're going to the year 565.
4.
Yeah, it would take us a while to get there. So, have you ever heard of Saint Columba?
No, but his name kind of sounds like Hubba Hubba, which is a quality flirt. This podcast brought to you by the phrase Hubba Hubba.
Not to be confused.
Casper the Friendly Ghost. With Hubba Bubba?
Not to be confused with Hubba Bubba Bubblegum.
Yeah, they did not answer our emails.
No, they did not. So yeah, Saint Columba was an Irish missionary credited with spreading Christianity throughout Scotland in the 6th century. One of the earliest written witnesses to some kind of a monster or beast in Loch Ness specifically, although the written account also includes other witnesses who mention a beast before St. Columba's encounter with it, but they are not named, and they're just like background characters to the story.
Did we have another episode where, like, one of the theories was that monks or something, like, lied about a creature so that, like, people would come stay at their monastery?
Did we?
Maybe I dreamed that one up. I don't know.
I don't remember that. But
Maybe it was the Jane Goodall episode.
Maybe. But that's very similar to what we're actually going to be getting to eventually.
Ciao.
But yeah, so Saint Columba, his story was written down by Adamnan, who was an abbot of Iona Abbey. He wrote about the life of Columba and included an interesting tale that takes place in the River Ness. Not quite the loch, but it is the river that flows into it. In his account, Saint Columba saw some residents burying a man by the river, and they claimed that he had been mauled and dragged into the water by a water beast, and they were unable to rescue him in time by boat. Columba ended up sending one of his followers. It included his name, Luigna Macumin. Luin Macumin.
If there's anything I know about, like, Scottish and Irish names, it's pronounced like Jim Jackson.
That's so fair. So yeah, Columba sent one of his followers to swim across the river, and when the water beast approached him, Columba made the sign of the cross and said, "Go no further, do not touch the man, go back at once." Not in English, but in Scottish, I think. According to the story, the beast stopped as though it was being pulled back with ropes, and then it left. And then I guess it was just done attacking people? I don't know. That's the end of the story. That's the end of the story.
Sweet.
Critics question the authenticity of the story altogether, claiming that these type of stories often include encounters with water beasts, like Scottish, I guess, stories of saints include these tall tale versions of encounters with water beasts, I guess. And it was only later attached to the Loch Ness Monster by proximity, because it was over 1,000 years between this story and any of the stories, the main stories of the Loch Ness Monster. Now, something that is important to note, in my opinion, otters get pretty big sometimes, actually. They have been known to, especially in rivers, they have been known to drag people into the water and drown them because they can be pretty aggressive. In fact, in certain parts of, I believe, Africa, they would tell stories of these things called water dogs that would essentially hunt people and kill them, dragging them into the rivers to drown them. And as time went on, they figured out it was river otters. So it is actually very possible that this specific story is a reference to river otters, and it is a true story. Who knows? But anyways, there are a couple other stories, literally just 2 other stories that are pre-1933. And one of them I forgot to write the date down, so that's nice. It was a guy named Alexander MacDonald.
Okay.
Who saw a large stubby-legged animal surfacing from the loch and propelling itself within 50 yards of the shore. First of all, how does he know it's stubby-legged if it's in the water? Propelling itself.
That's refraction. Also, I'm curious what propelling itself means. Like, I assume that if something is swimming, like, propelling itself, check.
Yeah.
Like, unless it had a motor on it.
I assume that... So when I read it initially, my idea was that it jumped out of the water and landed 50 yards from shore, but that does not make sense. So maybe it just spun in a circle like propellers. Who knows? And then there's another person named, I don't know their first name. I just have an initial. It's D. McKenzie, claimed to have seen an object similar to a log or an overturned boat wriggling and churning up water in October of 1871. But he didn't report this until 1934 after interest in the monster had become widespread.
I had a skeptical face for just a moment. I think that's fair. That makes sense. If I saw something wriggling in the water that I didn't understand, there's a non-zero chance I'm just like, especially it's like the 1800s, I'm probably just like, well, that's something, maybe. I don't know. I'm just going to go that way, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and
I get it.
He didn't bring it up until after the story started. Then he was like, hey, I saw this when I was a kid. I don't know what it was, but maybe. Who knows? I feel like that's fair.
Yeah, I'm with him.
And then 1933 and 1934, we see a large rash of sightings. And we're going to talk about a number of those before we get into a few of the ones post 1934, though most of them are in the 1900s. On May 2nd of 1933, Alex Campbell, who was the water bailiff for Loch Ness and also a part-time journalist for the Inverness Courier, wrote an article detailing a large beast or whale-like fish in the loch. His article was about the first-hand account of Aldi McKay, who saw the beast rolling in the water with her husband on April 15th. So the way I worded it, the beast was not rolling with her husband in the water. She was with her husband in the water when she saw it rolling in the bay.
Got it. I was like, okay, good for them, I guess. I saw my husband having an affair. You're never gonna guess with whom.
It's just a tabloid article. My husband had an affair with the Loch Ness monster.
Man, I bet that one, I'm gonna Google that.
Now, she did claim that she was aware of previous stories of a beast in the loch, and even reportedly had yelled, like when they saw it, she yelled, "Stop, the beast." So there was some kind of a pre-existing story, at least, of some kind of a beast in the loch. It could have been, again, the story of St. Columba. Who knows for sure? But she was at least somewhat aware of this story of a beast in the loch. Anything come up?
I need to pause for just a moment. I need to do some very quick research because a few things came up. I'll read titles. One is, my wife and I live apart so I can hunt the Loch Ness Monster, which is pretty close. That's at least an emotional affair.
It's an affair of sorts, yeah.
And then another article about universal behaviors of wayward spouses that sabotage marriage after an affair. And I saw a mention of... Okay, this is a related article. Please be there. I don't understand this article. I don't have time for it. And then an article entitled, this is 2013, Don't Mess with Nessie, my love affair with Loch Ness. So that's not necessarily the creature. It's the loch.
Yeah.
But take it easy.
Take it easy.
No sinning.
So that was in May. Technically, they saw the Loch Ness Monster, or what they assume was the Loch Ness Monster, on April 15th. May 2nd was when the article was written in the Inverness Courier. On July 22nd, a guy named George Spicer claimed to have seen a most extraordinary form of animal. That's his words. A most extraordinary form of animal crossed the road in front of his car. He described it as having a large body, nearly 256 feet long.
That's pretty precise.
Did I? I'm wondering if it was supposed to be 26. And I wrote
big, yeah.
And I hit 5 on accident.
I never know how big to picture Nessie, so when you say, like, a football field, I'm like, okay, sure. Why not?
Yeah, so we're going to leave it for now. We can double check that later, maybe. I probably won't. But he described it as having a large body with a wavy, narrow neck, and it apparently had an animal in its mouth. But even though he said it had no legs or feet, it apparently went across the road and into the loch more quickly than he could get a good look at it.
The internet says 3 football fields.
What?
No, like 15 to 20 feet to potentially 30 to 40 feet or more. But
okay,
it does
so
want to point out
26.
That there's no confirmed length for Nessie because it's a legendary creature and its existence has never been proven.
Hey, I've already kind of addressed that.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. But yeah, so researchers at Columbia University believe that they have proved this account to be false, though, citing the King Kong movie that was popular at the time as the inspiration for his account. Like, and this was not like back in the day. This was fairly recently, like within the past 30 years. People were like, oh, that guy who saw it back in 1933, he probably just watched King Kong and had an overactive imagination.
That's fair. I feel like it's wild that anyone had to disprove it. The burden of proof is not on the people that don't believe in it.
It's not exactly. It's really funny to me when somebody like believes something, whether it's funny to me when somebody does not believe in something and feels the need to like prove to everyone why they shouldn't believe in it too. That's just funny to me. Yeah. But anyways, November 12th of the same year, 1933, Gray took a photograph near Foyers that allegedly depicted the monster, but it was found to be a picture of an otter that was just distorted by Maurice Burton.
Stinking Maurice.
Okay, here's the thing. I wrote this so poorly. It was discovered to be distorted. Maurice Burton was the...
Discovered. Freaking Maurice. I hate when I thought I just snapped the perfect family photo, and then I look, and Isaiah's head's all funny. I'm like, oh, you. Maurice.
Maurice Burton comes up later, too. I'm pretty sure.
I bet he does. I bet he played a role in all this Bigfoot stuff. Jerk.
So he was a British zoologist, and it was 1963. 30 years later that he looked at this picture of an otter and was like, yeah, I think that's an otter that's just been distorted.
Great.
Cool. Then January 5th of 1934, Arthur Grant, a motorcyclist and veterinary student, described an account where he nearly hit the creature at 1 a.m. on a moonlit night. According to his story, the creature looked at him and then quickly crossed the road into the loch. He followed, but saw only ripples in the water. He drew a picture of the creature, which when you look at it, looks like a mix between a plesiosaur and a seal. But again, Maurice Burton said that it was consistent with the appearance and behavior of an otter.
Yeah, this guy really knows his otters. I'm suspicious of this guy.
Here's the thing, though. A guy draws something that looks like a plesiosaur, and you're like, that's an otter.
What? I bet this guy's having an affair with Nessie. Like, he shows up, someone's like, this thing exists, and he's like, no, it doesn't. I saw it walking away from someone's house the other night. Across the... No, you didn't!
Oh, man. It's projection. It's projection.
Just because my wife and I live apart so I can hunt the Loch Ness Monster doesn't mean anything.
So, just for your sake, I wrote most of my notes in Google Docs and then did not have my computer at work. And work was when I had to finish this up. So the rest of it is in my Foundations for Christian Mission notebook.
Hey, what? Real quick, flip to a random page in there and let me know what you learned about. Who'd you have?
Chris DeWalt.
Nice.
Okay. Once every few centuries, there has been a mega shift. There is the Age of Faith, Christendom, the Age of Reason, Enlightenment, the Age of Changes, which is post-modernity. Is it unreached? Europe has 750 million people. Secularism is huge. Only about 1% would consider themselves evangelical. What? That's crazy. Key issues: massive declines in traditional Christianity, small, vibrant evangelical growth. Immigration has brought some spiritual revival. The lands...
Get right. The lards of Europe need Jesus.
The lands of William Carey and Martin Luther now ironically need missionaries, is what it was saying.
Sweet. Good stuff. Yeah, don't...
Yeah, I'll delete the other stuff.
Yeah. That's really funny.
The next thing is something that you have seen before. You have 100% seen the surgeon's photograph. Like, there's no doubt in my mind.
Oh, yeah.
That you have
little
seen.
Thing?
Yes, the old black and white, really grainy one that just kind of looks like a little bit of a hump and then a long neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen it.
Sorry.
We've all seen the surgeon's photograph.
I'm fine. It's a pretty tight space here in my office.
It's a pretty tight.
Hey, get off my back.
It's the
I
one.
don't make fun of you every single time your voice cracks. It's funny because I do.
It doesn't happen as much anymore. It does though still.
That's okay.
But yeah, so the surgeon's photograph is attributed to Robert Kenneth Wilson, who was a gynecologist from London.
What's funny, Gage?
The article specified that. I don't know why it needed to specify that.
What's his name again?
Robert Kenneth Wilson.
And when was this?
1934.
Man, imagine being a woman paying a gynecologist in 1934. Like, I feel like, I assume that in 1934 a gynecologist just says like, yep, it's a vagina. See you later.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the sighting took place on April 19th of 1934. On April 20th, multiple different newspapers released a story about the sighting. And then on April 21st, the Daily Mail reported buying exclusive rights to the famous image, and that's when it was posted. It is considered, or it has been considered, it was for about 60 years, considered to be a pretty solid piece of evidence, but faced heavy skepticism for very good reasons. In 1975, the Sunday Telegraph released an article that was like, hey, this image is a fake. And they had like reasons for it, but it kind of got buried. Like, I have no idea why, but the article kind of got buried. Probably because tourism was important. And then in 1999, there was a book released called Nessie, The Surgeon's Photograph Exposed, that came out. And it was just a book tearing apart this one image.
Get wrecked.
Like,
You gynecologist.
I'm not a big enough hater, is what I've realized from studying some of this stuff. But
real quick,
yeah.
Can I do an impression of the surgeon's photograph for anyone who maybe hasn't seen it before?
Sure.
Okay.
I'd say that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, you might think that I'm just playing around here. Oh, let's put a little ocean action here.
There we go.
Or lock action. Like, you're looking... This is shot for shot. Like, this is it.
So
you're welcome.
I didn't include this later. I will go ahead and include it later. Never mind.
Sure.
So here is the reported true story behind it.
Okay.
Apparently, it was a toy submarine that was built by a guy named Christian Sperling, who was the son-in-law of M.A. Wetherill, who was an actor, director, screenwriter, producer, and big game hunter. He claimed 1991. 1991 is when Christian came forward saying that it was a toy submarine that he had made. Apparently he had gotten this submarine, and then using clay and some other stuff, he made the neck come off of it, and they took a number of photos. Apparently it was a prank planned by Wetherill, Sperling, a guy named Ian Colin Marmaduke Wetherill. Ian Colin Marmaduke Wetherill, which is the son of M.A., and Maurice Chambers. Wait, I need to look back. Was that the guy? No, it was Maurice Burton was the guy. Okay. Never mind. But a guy named Maurice Chambers.
Nessie has a type.
I guess. Planned this hoax together. So here's why is M.A. Wetherill worked for the Daily Mail. And he mentioned that he thought he had seen footprints of the Loch Ness Monster at one point, and his editor laughed him out of the room, essentially.
It's like big Spider-Man energy.
Yeah. And so he decided to get back at the paper for making fun of him by creating a fake image and then selling it to them.
Love that.
Yeah. So what happened, though, is they were there taking these photographs, and according to the story, a water bailiff came up, which I assume is kind of like a wildlife ranger or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
What do we call them? There's a phrase. Warden, like game warden.
Game warden. Yeah, I assume it's kind of like a game warden.
Yeah.
So the water bailiff came up, and they sunk it with their, like, Christian Sperling said he sunk it with his foot. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but in his own words, it is probably still somewhere in the loch to this day.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next thing is the Taylor film, which is in
Ooh.
1938, 4 years later.
How do you spell Taylor?
Taylor. It's G.E. Taylor. It was May 29th of 1938. G.E. Taylor, a South African tourist, filmed 3 minutes of something that Maurice Burton concluded was just a floating object.
Maurice.
No, Maurice Burton comes up a lot. Then, on August 15th of 1938, the same year, William Fraser, who was the chief constable of Iverness Shire, wrote a letter claiming that the monster was real and that there was a hunting party that had formed and made their own harpoon gun, and he was worried about how to stop them from hurting someone.
Great.
That's it. Like, he's just like, the monster is real. It's been here forever. By the way, I don't know how I'm going to stop these people from just harpooning someone.
Yeah, my game plan would be, what was the job?
He was the chief constable.
Okay, yeah, he can't do that. My game plan is to just not show up to that thing if I think people will get hurt. But he has an obligation, I suppose.
A little bit. I'm sure, like, well, no, I guess maybe in Scotland in the 1930s you could arrest people for thinking they were going to hurt someone, but I don't think you've been able to do that in most free countries ever. Anyways.
Curious.
And then December of 1954, so we jump ahead almost 20 years. There was wait, did I? Okay, good. There's some films that I have actually watched that are going to come up here in a minute. December 1954, the Rival 3 was doing a sonar, just had sonar going as it was going through the loch, and detected a large object at about 479 feet deep, and it was keeping pace with them for about 2,600 feet before they lost it.
When was this?
1954.
Man, okay, that's earlier than, because I know they have done sonar stuff recently. So
we're gonna talk about that the minimal amount.
Deal. Because that's the amount you've written down about it.
Exactly.
Love that.
Then July 9th of 1955, so the next year, there was a guy named Peter McNabb who took a photo of 2 humps.
Okay, 2 humps this time. Hump.
And then in
everybody. Hump.
In 1976, so 20 years later, Roy McCall got negatives of this picture and determined that it had most likely been doctored. Essentially what happened is it just looked like 2 humps in the waves, and he looked at the negatives and was like, oh, there's stuff in this image that wasn't in the one that got published. It looks like it had been overlaid with other images, essentially. Like it was a couple early Photoshop, essentially.
Yeah.
Then in 1960, there was a guy named Tim Dinsdale. Not Dimsdale.
Owner of the Dinsdale Dinadome. That's right.
In April 23rd of 1960, he recorded 40 feet of film, which is insane.
How long is that?
The video I watched was like less than 2 minutes long.
I feel like feet is such a weird metric for a film. Like, it makes sense back then, but like, that's not like picture you're going to the theater and you're curious like how long this movie is going to be. You're like, how long is this movie? And they're like 2,000 feet.
Yeah. And nowadays they're just like, I don't know, dude, it's a disc. Maybe like 5 inches.
Yeah, come watch it. It's 5 inches.
Yeah.
Anyone ever says that, don't do it. Get out. Graham.
But yeah, so I've watched this one, the Dinsdale film. And essentially what it is it shows a small dark spot. And he's filming this from like, you can tell he's filming it from like a higher angle, looking down over the loch. And you see this little dark spot. And it's all black and white. And it's really grainy. And it's really poor quality. But you see this little dark spot going across the water. And you see wake behind it. And if you're looking at it just right, it looks almost like there is a dark shadow underneath it in the water. So it looks like it could be like a big creature that part of it is above water, part of it is below water, and it's creating wake. But it also looks like it's a boat being recorded from really far away.
I'm currently watching it.
And that's kind of the conclusion that a lot of the skeptics have come to since then, in watching the film and going over the different, like looking at the film itself, like the actual rolls of film. It essentially just looks like it could be a boat. They tried to replicate it later and got the same exact results by filming a boat in the same area. So,
man, sad day.
Sad day. Then in 1977, we have the famous Loch Ness Muppet, which was a picture taken by Anthony Doc Shields, who is a magician, who claimed that he summoned the monster.
Dope.
At the time, it was the clearest image ever of a supposed Loch Ness monster, and he described it as an elephant squid. And his description was that the neck wasn't a neck, it was a tentacle that had an eye on the end of it.
I'll Google this.
You've probably seen this one as well.
What's this guy's name?
Anthony Doc Shields, Shiels.
Okay, that is a drawing.
I just looked up the Loch Ness Muppet, and it popped up.
Oh, that's helpful. Oh, yeah. Do you think our viewers want to see an impression of this one?
Sure. That's exactly it. Yeah, and so that's... Go ahead.
I expected the camera to go farther, or less far, so that I could go, like, out of the shot, but I just bumped into the shelf instead. So, can't win them all. Can't win most of them.
I mean, so far, people who are discovering Loch Ness are batting 0, so...
Yeah.
Can't win any of them. But yeah, so that's the Loch Ness Muppet. Then we have the Holmes video from 2007.
Ooh, I don't know about this one.
So it was a... Gosh, I didn't even get this guy's first name. It was May 26th of 2007. Holmes recorded a creature that he thought was 46 feet long. Adrian Shine, which was a marine biologist, suggested that it was an otter, a seal, or a water bird. Now, I watched this one as well, and it looked like it was a dark thing moving just below the surface, and that was it.
That's what I see, too.
Yeah, it's just like a little dark thing kind of moving just below the surface. It could be anything.
Yeah.
But literally, it could even be a log just being moved by the current. Then, go ahead.
Sorry. They do, like, boat trips at Loch Ness, so you can spend, like, $2,000 or whatever to rent a canoe and like canoe up and down the loch. We should do that sometime.
It looks gorgeous.
Yeah, and we could see her with our own eyes.
We could change my name to Maurice before we go.
Easy, Gage.
The next one is the David Elder video, which is from August 27th of 2013. This is a video that shows it's a guy who looks like he's standing on shore recording something that's quite a ways offshore. That just looks like a mysterious wave that kind of came up out of nowhere. But that's really all it is. It's just a guy looking at a wave that doesn't look like it was caused naturally necessarily, but it could have been. Skeptics believe that it was just caused by a gust of wind or something. And it's just a wave. I've spent a lot of time at lakes. I've seen a lot of waves that were just kind of like little rogue waves. So,
do you think our audience wants to see what a wave looks like?
Yes, please. That's perfect. It's beautiful. Oh yeah.
Sometimes you get close to shore and they'll do this number.
That's my favorite number.
It goes 1, 2.
Buckle my shoe. Then there's the April 19th of 2014 Apple Maps photo.
On this. I didn't look up the last video you mentioned, but I'm going to look at this one.
Yeah, so this was an image in Apple Maps that looks like wake coming from a large object, potentially. Essentially, a lot of people believe that it could have been from a boat, but because of the way the Apple Maps works, like as the images were being taken, it just kind of cropped out the boat itself or something. It's a big wake. That's really all I can, I've looked at it, you're looking at it. It's a big wake. That's what it is.
When you've been asleep for 12 hours, but you got to go to work.
It's a big wake.
Big wake.
And then we have from September of 2021, we have drone
Ooh.
footage
COVID Nessie.
that looks like it could be a 20-foot plesiosaur off of the coast of Loch Ness.
Great.
And it's mostly just if you like really zoom into the image, but it does kind of look like it. It looks kind of like a little plesiosaur. It's wild. It's like one of those enhanced.
Okay. You know what? I'll buy it. I'm a believer.
Like I said,
Then I saw her face.
it's like really, it's possibly just a wave.
I'm a believer.
Hey,
Not
hey.
a trace
Without a
of doubt in my mind.
You know what's crazy?
I'm in love.
Wasn't that written for Shrek?
I'm not sure, but the music video features. Have I forced you to watch that music video?
I've watched it on my own.
Good. The music video features Shrek.
Okay.
Shrek characters.
What
You
a
know
time.
I believe it. I'm all about Nessie now. I've been converted.
So there have been, and you kind of mentioned this, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on it at all because I literally just have a paragraph written, and it's not even a real paragraph. There have been several different searches for Nessie that have happened. There have been times just throughout the years where they have done sonar maps of the loch itself, like basically mapping out the entirety of the loch. They've done nets where they're essentially trying to, I guess, would that be dredging where you drag nets to try to catch anything? They would essentially dredge the lake.
Maybe.
Whatever they've done that where they like drag net, maybe it's dragnet, where they do drag nets through the lake to try to catch anything that's big enough to get caught in it. They have done scuba diving. They have done all kinds of searches in the lake throughout the years. They've even recently in 2024 done volunteer efforts, and they did a DNA test of the Loch Ness itself. So what we have is no conclusive evidence from any of this.
Great.
But sightings persist. So here are a few theories for that. The first theory is that it's plesiosaurs that, because this is an ocean inlet, come into Loch Ness during mating or growing season. Who knows?
Some sources suggest that plesiosaurs may have lived around 20 to 30 years.
I said plesiosaurs, like multiple.
Yeah.
Like babies and mamas.
And like the same daddy. Like these are some inbred fellas is all I'm saying.
Exactly.
Google, do you think plesiosaurs can experience inbreeding? Asking for a friend. I like Google to stay off my back. Since plesiosaurs were sexually reproducing animals, it is highly likely that they could have experienced inbreeding.
So yeah, that's one theory, is that it's plesiosaurs that are just inbreeding out the wazoo. The next theory,
I feel like everything but the cats needs an official stance on inbreeding. Take it away, Gage.
No.
There we are. That's our stance. You heard it here first, folks.
The official stance of everything but the cats is that inbreeding had to happen because of the noetic effect of sin, and that's the reason that negative repercussions are a thing.
More plesiosaur, please.
The second theory is that it could be other misidentified animals. We've already mentioned otters. However, some of the other animals that people throw in here are hilarious to me. We've got Greenland sharks. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I don't know why they'd be there, but kind of, yeah, sure. Eels, just big eels.
Sure.
Elephants.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. The elephant squid guy, like that guy.
Yeah.
The poor guy is dead if that's how it's swimming. It's got a trunk, I guess. It's fine.
Yeah, it's breathing through the trunk.
Are elephants particularly buoyant? I assume not.
They do swim. Haven't you seen Tarzan?
That's so true. And they do live in Scotland. Haven't you seen?
Yeah, they're native to Scotland.
The Scottish Zoo?
Haven't you seen Braveheart?
Are there elephants in Braveheart?
No.
I mean, I wouldn't be like, I know Rome did their, or not Rome, Carthage did their thing. But it's trickier probably to get elephants from Carthage to Rome than from Rome to Scotland.
Especially because it's an island.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Good luck.
So that's something. One theory that's out there, this is a legitimate theory, is that it's whale penis.
Okay.
From like a dead or a decomposing whale. That part just drifted in.
That's a little inappropriate joke for our video only viewers.
So that's one theory. The next is inanimate objects. So like it could be like boats, the wake of boats, trees, logs, etc.
Real quick, how many episodes do you think we've had where we've said both penis and vagina?
I don't think we've had any.
You heard it here first, folks.
Man, we finally had the talk.
This is about as directive as any talk I ever got.
Same, probably.
You see, son, in Scotland. So what do you know about Scotland? Okay, so there's a lake.
That's how I'm going to start.
He was a doctor. He was a gynecologist. Don't ask me what that means. Frankly, I don't know. I wish I could tell you what it means.
The fourth theory is that it's the ghost of a plesiosaur.
The ghost of an inanimate object.
I just love this theory so much. I saw it on Twitter. This isn't something that a lot of people like actually believe, but this guy on Twitter was like, you know what? My new favorite theory is that the Loch Ness Monster is the ghost of a dinosaur because it's harmless and really makes people mad.
That's really funny. My new favorite theory is that it's the ghost of a whale penis. So you chopped me off. Gotta get
See,
back.
this whale was a eunuch.
Yeah, I feel like there are talks about like a whale out in the ocean that like hums at like a higher, makes this noise at like a higher frequency than the other whales, so none of the rest of them can like hear it or whatever.
It's definitely a lower frequency.
Lower frequency.
It is. Yeah, it is a lower frequency.
Different whale then.
Well, maybe whales are just different than us.
There's some whale out. If you're a eunuch and you're listening, we're sorry. We're not apologizing. We're empathizing.
Yeah. The next theory is tourism go brr.
Oh, that's a good theory.
Essentially, the idea is that if you track tourism in Scotland, specifically around Loch Ness, you'll notice that over time it will start to dip, and that's when sightings will start to increase again. And that's why there's like these pretty big gaps between the sections of sightings. And so whenever tourism really starts to dip, someone's just like, oh, hey, the monster. It's
good Scottish accent, Gage.
Oi, hi, the monster, it's there.
No, that was worse. That was worse, actually.
That was Australian.
Yeah. The monster's there, guys. I'm Blendon Blandon.
The final theory, and this is my personal favorite.
Okay.
It's for research purposes.
Yeah, I've heard this one.
Yeah, Loch Ness is the most well-studied, mapped, and like documented body of fresh water in existence, because like a lot of the people who are hunting for the Loch Ness monster, quote unquote, are marine biologists. And so what they do is whenever, they need grant money or something to do a new DNA test on the lake, or to map the lake using sonar, or to do like drag nets and stuff to try to catch what kind of freshwater fish live in it, they're just like, oh, I'm a monster. Money? And it works. So Loch Ness is, like I said, it is one of the most well-studied, mapped, and researched inland bodies of water that exists. And we've learned so much about hydrology, freshwater fish, and other things through the pursuit of the Loch Ness monster. Man,
when you scan the lake for DNA and all you find is like a weird amount of whale DNA.
When you're using sonar to just map it out, and you see a large plesiosaur, say, please,
missing something. There's a new theory. Plesiosaur dongs. Man, this is probably our best episode ever.
It's the ghost of a plesiosaur. It's the ghost of research purposes.
Yeah. Nope.
But anyways, that is the Loch Ness monster.
Great. I feel...
Go ahead, sorry. No, go ahead.
I feel more educated than I did before we started this episode.
I do as well. Mostly in... I now know that I'm horrible at putting sentences together sometimes. and it ends up
Stinking
really funny.
Man, if
She
I ever
saw
catch
it rolling in the water with her husband.
that two-timing otter. Nope.
Yeah, our thoughts on the Loch Ness Monster are probably pretty obvious at this point. But what are your thoughts? If you believe, comment below, and we will hear you out. If you want to come on and tell us why the Loch Ness Monster is real, we would love to hear about it.
That's true.
If you are one of the marine biologists who's been studying Loch Ness and you want to talk to us about all the cool things you've discovered in the pursuit of the Loch Ness Monster, come on and tell us about it.
If you want...
Yeah.
Sorry. If you want to tell us to go screw off for making fun of your entire life's work and the animal that you love with your soul, mind, and body, come on the show. We would love to have you.
Yeah.
We would love to learn really I think there's more to learn about you than there is Nessie at that point.
Yeah, I mean, we know all we need to know about Nessie. We want to know about you at that point. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet? Like, who started it? Does your wife know? Does Champ know?
Does Ogopogo know? Does Stors Jujurnes know?
That's the real question.
I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, but it's Swedish, and I'm sorry. I am not Scandinavian.
Yeah, same.
Obviously so. So yeah, that's the Loch Ness Monster. Like I said, leave your comments below if you want to agree with us, disagree with us, add your own input, add information that maybe we forgot or left out. Because believe me, this was not my best notes. But it was fun, and I enjoy talking about this kind of stuff. I look forward to being able to do it again at a later date once we're back in the groove of whatever we normally do.
Yeah.
This is like episode 85, 86, I think.
Hey.
We're getting very close to 100. We won't hit it by the end of the year, but we will probably hit it early in the year, early in 2026. Awesome. So that's really nifty.
Remember back when we were talking about like we have to hit the first 13 because people who don't hit the first 13 they stop, and that felt like a chore. Like it was fun to record.
Yeah,
but it's like holy crap, 13, like that's forever from now.
Like what are we gonna come up with for 13 episodes? Well, I remember like after the first couple, I was just like, okay, I'm out of ideas. Like, what are we going to keep doing? And we've been able to keep it going, which has been really cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just
till we make it.
Loved the opportunity to keep hanging out consistently after years of not being able to do that well. But anyways, let's go ahead and do a what are we into real quick, and then hop off there, the Loch Ness Monster.
Sure.
DJ, what you been into?
So I feel like I already gave Sriracha a pretty big mention. Honestly, like there's a non-zero chance that at some point this past month, Angela has caught me rolling around with some Sriracha. So I have enjoyed it. I'll do one more just because I can't wait to talk about it. Yeah, I know what I'll talk about for our next episode. I mentioned that last time. I don't know if it was actually on the episode, but I mentioned I was buying like a little retro gaming handheld thing. This is a Miu Mini Plus, and I've been playing games. Yeah, I don't know what is or isn't kosher to show. I've been playing games though.
Yeah, I mean that's really neat.
It's not. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
You can emulate stuff on your phone, but like there's just something you lose when you don't have the buttons there, and you can emulate stuff like say you want to play a Game Boy game that you own legally and you've dumped your own ROM from. You can play it on your computer, but then the issue is that like it wasn't designed to be played on a computer, and so it just doesn't look right. Like it's big, and so you see all the pixels and stuff. And so it's nice having something that both has buttons for the sake of pushing buttons and a little screen for the sake of looking closer to how you grew up with it.
So today is
September
12th.
Never forget, Gage.
Oh, wait. Today is September 12th. It's been a week. But anyways, today, September 12th, 2025, the year of our Lord, it seems like almost every band that I pay attention to decided to drop new music, because there were like 5 new albums released today on Spotify, and one of them wasn't an album, but it was a single called Too Late. by Fox Royale. We've had Nathan Hurley on the podcast on 2 separate occasions at this point. He's a really cool dude. And their new single, like I said, Too Late, it's really good. I would go check it out on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, whatever. It's actually featured on the Apple Music, I think it's like indie or alternative artist list today, like indie or alternative new releases, which is just super cool.
That's awesome.
So go check out our friends at Fox Royale. They're really cool dudes. They make good music, and they're cool dudes. Like I said, they're cool guys. And check out our episodes with Nathan. Those are fun episodes, both of them. Yeah, so that's really cool. Also, I will say Jacob Casey and Kona, who wrote the intro music for this specific series that we're doing, actually finally released it on Spotify and Apple Music.
Oh, nice.
So you can listen to it. I believe it's called Medianoke, I think. And he's been releasing a lot of singles lately, just as he's been going.
They're happy to get back to their families.
Yeah.
So, like their parents, not their spouses.
Yeah. He's releasing a bunch of singles, and they've all been really cool. If you do like Ancona and you like his music, please go check it out this way. Even if you don't, go check it out. He's a really good guy, and it's really cool to see the music he's making. So that's what we're into. Thank you to all of you for sticking around. This has been one heck of an episode. I would compare it a little bit almost to the Jingle Bells episode, but just a different kind of chaotic.
I would compare it to the time that we started recording the Jingle Bells episode and then decided not to finish recording. But this time we did not do that.
Yeah, that's fair. Gosh, that was such a good time. I was actually just telling someone the story about that episode earlier today, and I was like, that's probably been one of my favorite episodes to edit and listen back to, just because of how unhinged it kind of was. But anyways, thank you guys for sticking around. If you're still here, awesome. Thank you to Jacob Casey for our intro music for this series, Adam Ward for our normal intro music, and Jared Scrother for our outro music. Thank you guys for being a part of this. Thank you to everybody who has been a part of this journey of us continuing to talk about everything, the support that you have given, and just the fun times we've been able to share together. We are still somewhat consistently still growing, so that's really cool. We're getting new audience members and new friends along the way, which is a really cool thing that we get to do. So thank you to all of you. All that said, stay lovely.
Always. Forever and ever and ever and always. If what we have given you in appreciation is not enough for you, from the deepest, bottommost pit of our hearts, please go thank yourselves. Have a good week.